Hi.
Hi there. I'm Natalie. I'm going to be your nurse today. What's your name?
Brian.
Brian, what's your last name?
Brian West.
And Brian, how old are you?
44.
What's your date of birth?
11/30/1976.
Okay. Are you single, married, divorced, or widowed?
Married.
Okay. And then what's your current occupation?
Computer engineer.
Okay. What about your current living situation? Are you living by yourself? Are you living with your spouse? Any kids?
Live with my wife and kids.
And how many kids do you have?
4.
Okay. And do you recognize any certain culture or any cultural beliefs that I need to know about?
Nope.
Okay. What about current medications? Are you currently taking any medications?
No.
No vitamins, no supplements,
I
nothing
do.
like that?
I do take vitamins.
Okay. What kind of vitamins do you take?
Daily vitamins and some vitamin C.
Okay. Perfect. Now, what about any allergies to food or medications?
Nothing food or more seasonal.
Okay. So some seasonal allergies. Okay.
Yes.
And what about health history? Any chronic health problems or any health history that you've had in the past? Any surgeries?
Just some knee surgeries.
Okay. And what were those?
I had a sports injury.
Okay. And what surgeries have you had?
ACL, PCL, and LCL replaced in my left knee.
And do you remember when that surgery was?
Around 1994 was the first one.
Okay. And what about the second one?
1995.
Okay. And what did they do in the one in 1995?
That was the remaining two, which was the PCL and LCL.
Okay. And both of these were on the left knee.
Correct.
And then the first one in 94, was that just the ACL then?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Anything else that I need to be aware of?
No.
Okay. What about family health history? Any health conditions or chronic conditions with your mother, father, siblings? Any of those?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. Now we're going to ask some questions just about you specifically. We're going to go over a review of systems. So these are problems you've been diagnosed or had in the past.
Okay.
Currently, though, are you having any pain or discomfort?
No.
And what about any history of seizures?
No.
Any headaches?
No.
Okay. What about sleeping problems?
No.
Okay. And then how would you describe your current general outlook on your life?
Good.
Okay. Now, are you currently experiencing any weakness, numbness, tingling, hands, feet, extremities, anywhere in your body?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What about any dizziness or vertigo?
No.
Okay. We're going to move on to the respiratory system. Do you currently have any breathing problems or any history of breathing problems?
No.
Okay. And then do you smoke?
I do not.
Okay. Have you ever smoked in the past?
No.
Okay. What about any, are you around any smoke? Anyone in your family smoke in your household?
Not consistently.
Okay. Now, what about a history of asthma?
No.
Okay. Now, what about activity-related chest pain?
No.
Okay. And do you exercise regularly?
No, not really.
Okay. So no exercise
No.
regimen, nothing
No.
like that. Okay. Okay. And have you recently had your labs done or had your cholesterol checked?
Yes.
Okay. And what were the results of those?
Everything was good.
Okay. Perfect. Great. And now, how would you describe your current diet?
I pretty much eat everything.
Okay. And then do you spend a lot of time eating out?
A couple times a week.
Okay. Now, what about any stomach problems?
No, not that I've noticed.
Okay. What about any heartburn?
No.
Okay. What about constipation or diarrhea? Any bowel issues at all?
No.
Okay. And then when was your last bowel movement?
Yesterday.
Okay, perfect. Now, any trouble urinating?
No.
Okay. And then do you wake up during the night to go to the bathroom?
Usually once.
Once a night? Okay. Any sexual problems?
No.
Okay. Perfect. Now, on the musculoskeletal system, I know you previously had surgeries and injuries. Do you have any joint or muscle pain?
No.
Okay, perfect. And what about any bone problems, any lasting problems, anything like that?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And then have you had the DEXA scan to screen for osteoporosis?
No.
Okay.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, no problem. And now what about your skin? Any rashes, any discolorations, anything that you're concerned about or aware of or previously had?
Not that I know of.
Okay. What about any moistness, dryness, any issues with those kinds of things?
Dry hands or?
Yeah, any.
Yeah, lotion.
Okay.
Lotion.
Any other issues you want me to know about or be aware of?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you giving me that health history, and I will be back in the room here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Hi there. I'm Natalie. I'm going to be your nurse today.
Okay.
And what's your name?
Brian?
Brian, what's your last name?
West?
Okay. So I am going to do an intake history for you. I'm just going to get just a broad view of problems you've been diagnosed with in the past and history that you've had, okay?
Okay.
How old are you, Brian?
44.
What's your date of birth?
11/30/1976.
Okay. Are you currently married, single, divorced, or widowed? Married, okay. What about your current occupation?
Engineer.
Okay. What about your current living situation? Are you living with your spouse, any kids, anything like that?
Own a home.
Okay.
With my wife and kids.
And how many kids do you have?
4.
And do you have any certain culture or beliefs that you identify with?
No.
Okay. What about medications? Any current medications you're taking?
Yes, I'm taking singular
Okay.
nightly.
And do you know the dose on that?
I do not.
Okay. We can always look that up.
Yes, and then I take an albuterol inhaler.
Okay.
If necessary.
Okay.
So,
And how many puffs of that do you take when you need it?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, as needed.
Okay. Any allergies to food or medications?
Seasonal allergies.
Okay, seasonal. What about any health history, any chronic conditions, any surgeries, anything that you've had problems with in the past?
Just the asthma.
Okay, so you take all those for asthma. Okay, no problem. And now, what about family health history? Any chronic conditions, parents, siblings, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Perfect. Let's move on to a review of systems. So these are problems you have right now or been diagnosed with in the past, kind of a history thereof. What about neurologic symptoms? Any history of seizures? Okay. What about any headaches? Now, are you having any pain or discomfort right now? Okay. What about problems sleeping? Oh, okay. And how would you describe your general outlook on life? Good, okay. Now, what about any weakness, numbness, tingling, hands, feet, extremities, anywhere in your body? Okay. What about any dizziness or vertigo? Okay. Now, what about any breathing problems?
Just the asthma.
Just the asthma. Okay, that's what I figured. Now, with that asthma, do you smoke? Are you around any smoke?
No.
Okay, good. Have you smoked in the past?
No.
Okay, good. Now, this history of asthma, was this something you were diagnosed with as a child, middle age? Can you tell me about that?
As a child.
As a child? Okay. Now, do you have any recent hospitalizations from asthma?
No.
Nothing recent.
Nothing that I can remember.
Okay. Now, is this, when is this asthma triggered? I know you use that inhaler as needed. Is it something where you have it during exercise or does it come about, what are those things that trigger your asthma?
Just seems to be exercise.
Exercise? Okay. So in relation to that, how often are you taking your rescue inhaler, albuterol?
Twice a week, maybe.
Okay, 2 times a week. Perfect. So no shortness of breath right now?
Correct.
Okay, good. Okay, let's move on to the cardiovascular system. Any chest pain with activity?
No.
Okay. And then, so do you regularly exercise?
walks.
Okay.
With my wife.
And how many times a week do you do that?
3 times.
Okay. And do you usually need to take your inhaler during those times?
That's 2 of the 3. Yeah.
Okay, a couple of times a week. It kind of relates to those walks. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And now, have you had your cholesterol checked or your labs run recently? And what were the results for that?
Everything was good.
Okay. Now, how would you describe your diet?
Simple. I eat whatever's
Okay.
there.
Perfect. Now, any stomach problems?
No.
What about heartburn?
No.
Okay. What about constipation or diarrhea? Any bowel troubles?
No.
Okay, when was your last bowel movement?
This morning.
Oh, this morning? Okay, perfect. Now, any urinary problems? Any problems urinating? Any pain, burning, anything like that? Okay. Do you get up at night to go to the bathroom?
No.
Oh, okay, good. What about sexual problems?
No.
Okay. Now, onto the musculoskeletal system. Do you have any joint or muscle pain?
No.
Any problems with that? Any problems in the past?
No.
Okay. Now, what about bone problems?
No.
Okay. And have you had the DEXA scan to screen for osteoporosis? Okay. Now, in relation to your skin, any rashes, any dryness, any itching, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Any skin problems you've been diagnosed with in the past?
No.
Okay. Now, is there anything else you want me to know about or anything that I didn't touch on?
Not that I can think of.
Perfect. Well, thank you for this, Brian, and I will be back with you in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my self-assessment. This is Natalie Buchanan. I felt I did well. I kind of felt like I was rushing just because of the time limit. I kind of reverted back into my regular questions for work. I noticed that I get into a routine at work, and sometimes I need to be mindful about listening to answers and making sure that I record the information because I already know the next question I'm supposed to ask. And so my mind's already moving on to the next system or the next subject. So I do need to be mindful of that. Overall, I think it went well. I'm on camera at work all the time, so I don't even think about being videoed. And I think that was really helpful for me. But I think slowing down and making sure to ask any more probative, open-ended questions would be helpful. Thank you.